Shout out yet again to Tim at TGG Firearms for getting a hold of one of these for me. This is going to be a different one. The Standard Manufacturing Thunderstruck Volley Fire. I have to admit that I did not expect a quality box like this. That's actually kind of cool. And breaking in. Ta-da! We're done. Okay, there's your unboxing. See you later. Alright. Okay. So very first impressions are that this is really heavy. This gun is not made of polymer like I had suspected. It actually has quite a bit of heft to it. Okay, we're gonna play with all that in a second. Did they give us anything else? Ah, okay. So they're really conservative on their packaging. Cute tiny little lock. Well, it's a cool sticker. It'll probably go on my toolbox. Now that I'm looking at this, you guys see that little hole right there? It looks like that might be a provision for a laser. Do we have a laser? Let's find out, because I know absolutely nothing about this gun. I kind of like going into guns that I don't know anything about, because it's always kind of interesting. Don't care about state laws. I mean, to a degree I do, I guess. I want to know what this thing right here is. That. Front sight, trigger housing, one-piece grip, hammer pivot pin. A bit daring of them to call this a trigger guard, but hey, teach their own. Trigger safety. Okay, so trigger safety. It does have a paddle safety, very similar to a Glock, but with that gigantic ass trigger and no actual trigger guard, it's kind of bizarre. I don't know how I feel about that. Never carry any revolver with the hammer cocked or the trigger held to the rear. We don't have a hammer. Do we? No, we don't have a hammer. This is double action only. Chambered for 22 mag only. Kind of cool that they have little ports for lubrication. In my opinion, this is just me, again, per usual. I really don't feel like you should be putting lubrication inside of the internal workings of a revolver. Lube in general is one of those things that collects and attracts dirt, and how often do you really break apart your revolvers? Me personally, never. So I like the internals of my revolvers to have maybe at the most graphite. Lube is one of those things that will collect dust and eventually turns into grit and grime, and then you start having failures like the new Pythons are having. If only squibs actually looked like that. My barrel has a boner. So don't shoot people in the back. Or, I don't know, because this guy's wearing a backwards baseball cap, but he's holding their gun, so they're kind of portraying it as like a cool dudes carry our gun. So this guy could either be facing away or facing towards him. Maybe it's two bros that just drank some natty ice and they're getting ready to be like, hey, 22 won't kill you. This manual is proving to be entertaining enough that I could have just done a video on this manual. Never climb a tree or fence with a loaded firearm. I mean, while true, these photos are actually pretty funny. Onto the gun. I still want to know what the hell that's for. Alright, so opening our cylinder, we have quite a few snap caps, and those are going to go back in for the demonstration of the video, but so we have 8 cylinders. When I was researching this, I was thinking to myself, okay, it has 2 triggers that act together and they are separate. It just happens to be that they are easy to pull in sequence. That is not the case. This is one trigger, one solid piece. Maybe these count as triggers? I mean, see if I can do it with one finger. Yep. So every trigger pull fires 2 rounds. But I guess it would be triggers pull. Every triggers pulled fires 2 rounds. I have to admit, for this being such a goofy little gun, it actually does feel like it's really well made. So when you dry fire a rim-fired cartridge, the striker is actually hitting a piece of metal. Metal on metal is not good. Metal on brass is much better, obviously. So we're going to put our snap caps back in. And there we go. Again, still want to know what the hell that's for. This almost looked like it was going to be a laser. That's why I was so intrigued by it. Not that I really like lasers, it just would have been cool. I mean, I like actual lasers. I build lasers as a geek and for fun. For example, here's one of my 450 nanometer builds that I recently did. This one's running a 5-watt laser diode driver. Let's see if it'll melt Kydex. I'm gonna say yes. Whew, Kydex stinks. Sorry for the sidetrack, back to the video. I really like building lasers, it's a lot of fun. So how is this not ruled to be a machine gun? When I saw photos of this, I was thinking to myself, this is a trigger, and this is a trigger. Like, you're pulling 2 triggers, but no. This is just a paddle safety, much like a Glock. And these are your triggers. Maybe the constituent is the fact that you can't pull it with just one finger, because you hit, I don't know. But you are definitely just pulling one piece of metal. Again, these are not separated. Don't know how this isn't classified as a machine gun. Because again, one trigger pull fires 2 barrels. I don't get it, but I'm not complaining because I think the NFA is bullshit anyways. Obviously, this isn't going to be something that you're going to be carrying in your pocket. Let me find something to give you a size comparison. Good size comparison, Glock 26. So, I mean, with the cylinder width, it's about the same, maybe a little bit heftier on this side. Height is what really matters to me, as far as being able to pocket carry goes, at least. Yeah, this is higher. So, and weight. They're pretty close. I would say maybe the 26 is a little bit heavier. And this has an empty mag. So Bizarre Gun, again, making sure, always get in that habit. It's a tick of mine, and it's a good one because I've never had an ND, never gonna happen. But I'm always vigilant about that, and I will never apologize. I know that there's snap caps in here, I can see them. They're bright orange, still check. You never know. So purpose of this gun, what would it be? It is an exceedingly heavy double action pull. I would put this on the... That takes almost all my might with just one finger. I would put this close to 12 or 13 pounds. I could be way off, but it is a pretty damn heavy trigger. It's really hard to actually tell how heavy it is because you're pulling with a middle finger as well as an index, so it feels lighter than it is, I guess. But truck gun, maybe. I can think of better options. I would rather put 11 rounds of 9mm into somebody than 8 rounds of 22 WMR. But overall, this is just kind of one of those weird oddities that I happen to like. It's kind of like the Heiser PAR-1. Impractical, ridiculous, way too heavy, but at the same time, it's a tiny little pocket I say pocket lightly, pocket Derringer that shoots 5.56. I mean, it's pretty cool. Useless? Yeah. We are very, very, very clear. So again, I like weird guns. Useless? Yep, pretty much. It is fun to shoot though. Gigantic fireballs. So think of your average 8.5 inch or 10 inch 5.56 and the fireballs you get from that. This is your barrel. About this much right here. So it's all flame. That also means that this has 0 barrel length to gain any form of velocity. And honestly, I doubt that the cartridge would have much more energy than like a standard 22. So it's cool, it's really loud, shakes your entire body, and all you see is fire. But it's kind of what makes it cool. Again, guns don't always have to be practical to be neat. Really quickly, let me read what they say about shot shells. So basically what they're saying is if you're using the CCI shot shells that have the rounded plastic tips, the plastic could basically get in the cylinder and cause the cylinder to not be able to rotate. They're not saying don't do it. There are offerings out there that have crimped ends as opposed to, you know, the CCI ones, so I would imagine you'd be totally fine shooting shot shells. You guys know me, I'm not going to say a snake gun, because in my opinion, there's absolutely no reason to kill a snake. Call somebody, have the snake relocated. Let's say rabid squirrel. Or maybe even a coyote. Or whatever. This would be a pretty cool ranch gun. Again, I would rather have, you know, a normal, regular caliber. But, so anyways, the construction of this puts tourists to shame, at least. It is all metal. Actually, pretty comfortable grip. This is really bizarre to get used to. The whole 2-finger thing. Strange, very strange trigger guard, obviously. And we cannot pull the trigger without actually grasping this. And at the same time, even in your pocket, there's no way, I don't want to say that and be liable, but if this was in your pocket, you're not doing that by accident. 2, 4, 6, 8. Or just 2. I mean, 2 shots of 22 mag into anyone or anything is gonna do some damage. So overall impressions of this gun are, it's really well made, very bizarre concept, so kind of a gun that nobody ever actually really needed, but I have to admit, it is cool enough to want. And again, I don't know how they got past this, but the ATF said it's okay. Again, repeal the NFA. But this apparently counts as 2 triggers. Again, how, I don't know. But by my count, that's 1 trigger pull, firing 2 barrels at the same time. So there it is, the standard manufacturing S333 Thunderstruck. I really don't honestly know how I feel about this gun. I think it's cool. I don't know what it would be used for. Again, it's one of those crazy oddities that we don't really actually need in our lives, but at the same time, hashtag America, it's cool. You guys might think it's stupid, and that's totally fine too. I wonder if just taking this off would make it, well, you guys probably are picking up on what I'm saying, but yeah, interesting. So, does it cycle all cylinders? 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, it seems to work, it seems to function. Again, 2 shots for every single trigger pull. That's pretty cool. There's really no refuting that. So there it is, breaking up the monotony of standard guns and apparently this week is focused on 22s. As always, thank you guys for your time. Like, share, and subscribe. Yep, this is a weird, weird gun. Alright, see you guys in the next one.